All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I apologize, I didn't make the video last night. My throat was kind of, you can probably hear it in my voice, which probably sounds kind of wacky right now. One thing I just wanted to point out, if, because home runs are kind of hard to hit, but they're freaking fun as hell, as we saw last night. Um, you could do total bases as well, or even just hits with all the guys that I pick. There's other ways to kind of expand. Total bases are a little safer. Just keep in mind it's singles, doubles, triples, home runs. It's not, and if they reach base on an error, it doesn't count as a base. If they steal a base, that doesn't count as a base. Things like that. But there's a lot of stuff you can do. You can do stolen bases, which is kind of random. You have to hope like they get the first with nobody on base, so that's the disadvantage there. All right, let's try to do this real quick because it's a morning slate, and I didn't make the video last night. Let's start with the Nats and Yankees. I'm just gonna refresh this real quick just in case the Nats came out of the lineup. Nope. I probably wouldn't really like Nats anyway against Fried, even though he has been kind of bad lately. But I wouldn't take any of their lefties anyway. The lefty lefty matchup, and the Nats are bad, so kind of a good reason not to take them. Um, if I took one, probably be Adams. If he plays, he's a catcher. Catchers don't play every day. Keep that in mind. Um, Also, keep in mind if you use FanDuel, wait on the lineups before you. Like yesterday, I had Varsho in my three legger, and then I replaced him with Springer because he wasn't playing, which was good because the parlay I gave hit. I know I gave it really late, so I think a lot of people missed it, and I apologize. Um, but it just kind of sucks that Varsho didn't start, and then he came in pinch hit, and then if on FanDuel you lose the bet because he didn't hit a home run, which sucks. Um, Moving on, and as usual, the weather's really good. 10 miles per hour blowing out. Yankees. This Cade Caval, is that how you say his name? Cavalli. He's been okay so far. I don't really like this site. Let's check this site. I'm just gonna check his game log real quick. 7 hits. Oh, he likes giving up 7 hits a game. He's only giving up 2 home runs. Um, Also, here's ground balls. Kind of gives you an idea how many ground balls they and then fly ball outs they get. So he does give up slightly more ground ball. That's actually one thing we should point out more. Um, Slightly more ground balls than fly balls. So it's kind of 50-50. Um, but he's only given up 2 home runs on the year. With that said, it is the Yankees. So I always say I like their lefties against the righty. And right now, with Jazz and Grisham being so hot, we can easily go with them. Um, I still see people taking Judge and their parlays over Stanton. I know Stanton's not playing today, but please don't take Judge over Stanton right now. He's clearly still hurting with his elbow issue. If you want to take him, I'm not mad at you. You gotta prioritize Stanton when he starts. So, as usual against a righty, I like Grisham. Always prioritize the leadoff hitter, and then Jazz. Belly's pretty cold right now, so I like Belly and Wells, but I'm not gonna pick them today. Is all I'm saying. And then Rice has been hot too. And look at his odds. Once again, like I said with Springer yesterday, when his odds go down a lot, that means they really like him on the day. I don't know what his odds were yesterday, but those are pretty low. And then a sleeper pick. I think Dominguez hit yesterday, which is interesting. He could hit again. And then there's always Volpe. So, but yeah, I'm not gonna pick any Nats today. Let me see if Adams is plus 630. But the weather's really good. The wind's blowing out, so could be a decent game. Yankees are huge favorites over unders 8.5. The one thing about early games on Wednesday is they usually stink. They're usually not good. So just keep that in mind as well. Tampa and Cleveland. Tampa's got one of their best pitchers going against a team that's really struggling, and Jose Ramirez isn't starting. So what that tells me is, or what that means to me, is their lineup is much weaker today, which means they're probably going to lose. So if you're betting money lines, I would take Tampa. And Slade has been pretty bad this year. So we're going to go with Brandon Lau. We're going to go Caminero. And then we're going to hopefully see them hit home runs. That could be a pretty good teammate parlay if you want to put them two together. I don't mind that. Here they are. Yeah, Cam's only plus 240. Lau's plus 400 on FanDuel specifically. So stick with the hot bats as always. As far as sleeper picks, it's not a very good park for home runs. So you could go Diaz. I would say Diaz plus 680 for Diaz, and I think he hit one on the first game of the series. So he's proven he can hit there at this park. But the over under, wind is left to right 10, which isn't whatever. But the over under is only 7, so that's really low. They probably don't think Cleveland's going to score very many runs here with how bad their offense has been. Tampa could win 7-0 for all we know. Moving on, we're in a dome stadium in Miami. Joey Wentz versus Gusto. It's a barn burner right there. It's already a stadium I don't really like that much. I noticed Jake Fraley is now on the Braves. He'd probably be like a good little sleeper pick for me, and he's coming off injury. So I think he's okay. Ozuna's not playing, so I'm actually happy about that. He's been terrible this series against his former team. But, yeah, Olsen's been terrible. I guess I would say Baldwin is okay in the 4-hole. Lefty-righty matchup. And then Ozzy hit 2 yesterday, so if you want to swing for the fences there, I'm okay with it. Let's see what the odds look like. Oh, they really like Acuna today. If you want to go Acuna, I'm okay with that. His odds are smashed right now. And then Baldwin's 470 and Ozzy's 520. So I'm not really a huge fan of this game, mostly because of the stadium. So a lot of my picks are based on if they're playing in a hitter park or not. And it is a good matchup. They're not very good pitchers. So I think on Miami side, I'd probably actually be more willing to take like Wagaman, if that's how you say his name. I'm not even really sure. Acosta's kind of interesting. He hit again, I think, 2 games ago. Other than that, looks like Ramirez got the day off, and I do like Hernandez usually, but he's been really cold. Let's see what the odds look like for them. Yeah, see, Hernandez is their first. So I'm thinking Eric Wagaman if you want a Marlin, and then if you want a long shot, try Acosta again. Since I have no idea who the guy is, but he's been hitting pretty decent lately. But let's go Acuna, Baldwin, Wagaman, and then anyone else you like on your own. I don't want to pick everybody. All right, we already did that game. Let's go to Seattle against San Diego. Darvish did pitch pretty well his last start. I think it was against the Dodgers too. So it's good to see. I'm a Cub fan, so seeing Darvish pitch well is always fun. But the Dome Stadium over under 8. And Brian Woo's been really good. This is probably a game I don't really like that much. I would obviously Cal's always in play. Randy's okay. I think he hit yesterday again. And he's in leadoff as usual. Let's see what their numbers look like off you. Randy's 2 for 5 with a home run. Cal's 2 for 8 with a home run. Suarez is 9 for 36 with a home run. So don't take that too much into account. But he did hit a home run yesterday. So I guess the usual suspects: Cal, Suarez, any of those guys you like. I'm not going to prioritize any of them. I'll kind of let you guys guess on that. But that could be kind of a rough game. I just feel like honestly, this entire slate doesn't look that great, but at least compared to yesterday, I liked yesterday's a lot. And then Padres, I'm going to say no. I don't like any Padres today. Boston at the Baltimore still. Okay, here we go. I have no idea who this guy is. And I'll tell you guys, if I don't know who somebody is, I'm just, Wait, it says Rosie Contreras, but this says D ends. Okay, well, I don't know who's starting for Baltimore today. My voice just cracked. This is probably going to be a bullpen game. So I actually really don't like bullpen games because they're going to constantly change pitchers. The batters are constantly going to see different arms, different. So what that means is they're going to see the pitch locations are different, where they're throwing from. So I'm not really a big fan of bullpen games. But I'm probably just going to put in the comments somewhere once they come out with this lineup if I like anything. Because if a righty's starting, then I like Boston, anyone really. But if a lefty's starting, then that changes everything. So we're gonna skip that part. For as far as Bello goes against Baltimore, I mean Bello's pretty good. He pitched a really good game against the Yankees the other day. And Gunner's got one off him. So if you want to try Gunner, that's fine. And then, of course, Kowser, we know, has been hot. But it is over under 9. It is one of the best stadiums for home runs. So I do like the game, but I just don't know who's pitching for Baltimore. That's a little annoying. But as far as Baltimore goes, just stick with the usual suspects. The only two guys I can trust right now are these two, Gunner and Colton Kowser. Gunner's just had a super, super disappointing year. That's why it's hard for me to pick him. But like I said, I'll put something in the comments later today when the lineups come out and we know who's actually pitching. So just pay attention to that. We just won't include this game in a parlay. I probably wouldn't anyway, even though I do like the stadium. Twins and Jays. Richardson versus Lauer. Lauer's a lefty. Buxton got the day off yesterday. So let's see if he has any numbers off Lauer. Yeah, nothing special. Just with how bad Minnesota is, I'm just gonna stay off them. The only one I might consider is Jeffers. He was really good last year. Well, he was fun to pick. He didn't have like a ton of home runs, but you could time him right. But yeah, I'm gonna stay off Twins just because how cold they are. And then as far as Toronto goes, obviously we'll stick with Springer and Varsho. I'm sure Varsho will start today. Once again, I'm sorry yesterday. Look at his odds, 280. So yeah, you have to prioritize those two guys. And then once again, I do like Kirk still. But as far as long shots go for Toronto, they're really hard to guess. So stick with Varsho and Springer. And then if you like Vladdy, you can. I'm not really on him much this year because he's too inconsistent hitting home runs. Personally, you could take him for a double, take him for total bases, and I'd feel good about it. But a home run, I'm not sure. And then, next game, Philly Mets. This has kind of been a disappointing series in general. The nice thing is both pitchers are righties, so pretty much anybody's in play. Let's see what the weather looks like. Wind, 10 miles per hour. Doesn't say which direction it's going, though. Let me check real quick. It is... What game was it? New York Mets. Oh, it's left to right. Okay. That could be good for lefties, which we like anyway in this game. I got to think Schwarber or Harper is going to hit today. I'm not really sure if Nolan McLean is. I think he's probably a rookie. But we'll try them today for sure. They're due as well, if you want to think of it that way. Then Kepler's fine too. And then as far as Mets go, I do like Soto, Nimmo, Petey. Walker last year was atrocious. He has gotten better. but he was not good last year. So he probably kind of has bad stats against these guys, I'd imagine. Yeah, Petey has 3 home runs off of him. Nimmo's got a couple. Lindor has really bad numbers off him. Wow. I still think he's okay, but you don't have to go Lindor. Even Soto, he's got good numbers. He just hasn't hit a home run off him yet. And then even Vientos is 2 for 4. I'll see if he's starting though. He doesn't start every day. He is. So any of these Mets are in play here. Let's go Schwarber. Oh, Schwarber's got nice odds too. All these guys kind of have nice odds, so take advantage of these odds. Even Nimmo, but any of these guys that you like they're all in play. So I like them. I like Petey today. He's got a lot of home runs off of him. My mic. There we go. So Mets are looking good, and then KC at Chicago White Sox. Ryan Burt versus Aaron Savelli. Savelli's had a rough year. We'll definitely go back to Vinny, assuming he starts lefty righty. Other than that, I mean, Yaz hasn't hit a home run this series, so I'm not really on him. He's pretty streaky. I did mention in a video, like a couple videos ago, that he's been hitting really well at home, but he hasn't really been hitting well on the road. So I'm not on him as much when he's on the road. But I do like Vinny. I think that's really all I would take for KC. They're just not playing well in this series as a as a team. If you want Perez or Witt, that's fine, but I would just stick with Vinny. As I say, stick with the hot bat. I know he didn't hit yesterday, but I didn't recommend taking him. And I saw him in a bunch of parlays, and he busted them. Not to say like hindsight makes you look like a genius, right? As far as White Sox go, obviously I can't not take Montgomery because the guy is a legend. He was in the parlay I made yesterday that hit. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the White Sox haven't been very good, like power wise. They've been good winning games, but power wise, I can't really recommend like Benintendi. If you want Sosa, I wouldn't be mad at you. Vargas has been disappointing lately. Otherwise, I would take him. All right, D-backs, Milwaukee. Nelson versus Priester. Priester's been good this year, but he's also been giving up some home runs lately. The only problem is the Diamondbacks are just insanely unpredictable right now. I liked Carroll yesterday and he didn't hit. Of course, Gurriel didn't hit. I'm just not going to pick any Diamondbacks. It's just not worth it, in my opinion. Plus, the Brewers were just way better. Although that did turn into a really good game. They caught up and then forced extra innings, but still lost. Brewers against Nelson. If Terang's in leadoff, which he was yesterday, I like him. I didn't know he was going to lead off. Otherwise, I would have just said pick him. So that was kind of deceiving in that aspect. If he doesn't lead off, then I don't like him as much. The reason I think I've explained this, but the reason why I like leadoff hitters so much is because they get more at bats. So when the lineup goes through, and if they're moving on through, then they could get 2 at bats in the same inning, if the lineup is just marching along. And we saw earlier this year there was a player, I forgot who it was, but he hit 2 home runs in the same inning. I think it's actually happened a couple times this year. But it hasn't happened in a little while. But it did happen this year a few times. But anyway, if Frelick leads off, then I'm not going to pick him for a home run. But also, Nelson's actually been pretty good lately. So, and this is a dome. But I like Terang. Honestly, right now, it's kind of hard to pick both these teams. If you want like Durbin, that's fine. He's actually kind of one of the hotter hitters on the team. He's plus 600 also. Yeah. Let's go. We'll say Contreras because he has been hot. And yeah, that'll be it for Brewers. All right, so Pittsburgh and St. Louis. Bubba Chandler Let's see if that's what they have on here. See, I don't know why they have different people. I trust ESPN more though, so it's probably going to be this guy who I still don't even really know who he is. With that said, I don't I don't like really either of these teams. Sonny Gray is pretty good. Actually, he's probably faced a lot of Pirates, so we'll just check his numbers real quick. Yeah, Reynolds has 3 home runs off of him. That's okay. I that doesn't like mean I'm just gonna pick him. If you want to pick him, that's fine. And he's plus 750 for whatever reason. That's actually crazy. Uh, the weather's okay too, so I'm not really sure what the deal with that is. So if you want to try him, that's fine. Or even Cruz, these odds are pretty nice. But this is a game that I'm going to personally avoid. We'll just skip it. I'm not even going to go over the other team. Angels and Rangers. Jack versus Jacob. Just double check on here. Yep, they're showing them. So we can go. You can go your usual Nito, Adele. They both hit yesterday. Ward hasn't hit here, so if he hit earlier in the series, I would say take him. But to me, that just means he's not going to hit here. But yeah, just take them too. Seager finally hit yesterday, maximum of 25. Do I really have that many? All right, remove. Well, we're obviously not going to take that many people, but my bad. So these guys, the usual suspect. Look at this. Trout's even plus 400 because of how much he's been struggling. They're moving his odds up. So we like Seager. I mean, pretty much the usual, the Rangers. Jack isn't a very good pitcher, so we can definitely target him. How many home runs has he given up this year? I feel like every time I target him, he doesn't give up any home runs. 18 and 107 innings. Yeah. He doesn't scare me, so do like Rowdy, Seager. And then if you want like Langford or Garcia, that's fine too. So pretty much Rangers are looking good in this game against Jack. And the over under is 9, so it's a nice and it's a dome. So they're projecting a pretty high scoring game. All right, the ever so disappointing Houston Astros. That was something yesterday. It just shows how unpredictable baseball is. And they were huge favorites and lost the game. So if you pick the Rockies money line, congratulations. Dollander. So I like Sanchez again. He hit yesterday. And then, I mean, once again, any Astros you like are fine. I always like Pena. Alvarez I'd probably wait on. Before he came back from his injury, he really, really, really struggled. So it's probably best just to wait on him until he can prove that he's got the power again. And then I would say Altuve. Altuve is pretty due. So Pena, Altuve, and Sanchez would be my top guys there. And then if you want Walker, that's fine. But really, really Eddie. I do like Ian Diaz too if he starts. Just don't take them all unless you want to stack them. I think that's okay. As far as Rockies go, Goodman's fine. He hit yesterday also. And then I always like Doyle. Doyle's been one of my favorite Rockies lately. So Goodman, Doyle's plus 800 on FanDuel too, so those are really nice odds. And then I would say Diaz, Sanchez. So, and then any Houston Astros that you like. But yeah, the Astros should win this game. They're not going to lose 2 in a row to the Rockies. Moving on, Cincinnati and the Dodgers. Dolo versus Otani. We go. I went out last night just to have a drink, and I was watching the Dodger game. Otani looked really bad. He was swinging at everything. I actually don't like him today. I Normally, I would just say because he's matchup proof, he can hit off. Look at this. I got my friends asking me for bets. He can hit off of. He can hit off lefties, but I just after watching him yesterday, I'm not. I'm not picking him. I would go. I would go Andy Pages. That's how you say his name. If Kiki plays again, I think he's good. He'll hit eventually. I didn't know he was coming back yesterday from injury, but I actually like Kiki. He's always a really good sneaky pick, and his odds are probably pretty good if they're 540. So look at Enrique Hernandez, aka Kiki Hernandez, and then Teoscar. So I actually don't. I'm gonna say no on Freddie, but he also can hit off lefties. So if you like Freddie Freeman, feel free. That's fine. And then where was the other guys? Oh, Paul has. I get made fun of when I call him Pages. And then as far as Reds go, I know Hayes hit, but it was only his 11th home run of the year, so don't look too far into that. But it is a really, really good hitter's park, so it's hard not to pick anybody. I actually, honestly, I'd go Gavin Lux because Lux was on the Dodgers last year, so I actually think that's a good look. Lux at plus 870, and he was one of my sleepers last year. And I swear to you, every time I picked him, he hit a home run when he was on the Dodgers. I don't know why he's struggling on the Reds so much, but I actually don't think that's a bad pick right there. And then that should be it for that game. It probably actually won't be that great of a game. I don't know why. I just kind of have that feeling. Cubs and Giants. This was another disappointing game. The Cubs lost to the Giants yesterday. And Ray versus Weisenhunt. Once again, I can't take Cubs. The Cubs are just so bad right now for home runs. I just can't trust them. As far as Giants go, Chapman hit yesterday, and I usually do pick him when he's at home, but he hadn't hit in a long time, so that's why I didn't recommend him. But when he's at home, I like him. I like picking him at home. I would say Devers. Devers has been hot. Well, he's cooled off a little bit, but I do like Devers. So we'll go Devers and Chapman in this game. And once again, if you like anybody else, it's up to you. Ramos isn't a terrible pick at home, but he just hasn't been that great this year either. And then the last game of the day is Detroit and well, not Oakland, but Sacramento Athletics. Is that what we call them? So the Tigers should avoid the sweep here. Once again, you get a high over under. It's good wind. Yeah, wind blowing out. We go. Obviously, Riley Green is an absolute legend. He hit the grand slam to complete the parlay I made yesterday. So that was cool to see. Perfect case scenario, too. When the bases are loaded, people see better pitches because obviously the pitcher doesn't want to walk a run in. So they're going to see better pitches. And he hit it on a 1-2 count. So he had 2 strikes. But he hit a monster. It was a 470-foot home run. It was crazy. So we like Green always. And then it's kind of hard to pick them right now because Carp and Torkelson are so cold. I mean, obviously you can take them, but they're just not hitting home runs. Carpenter's getting hits. He's just not hitting home runs. But, I mean, anyone's in the play at this stadium, literally. I mean, even Jacob Wilson hit another home run yesterday. So, I mean, you could really take anyone in this game. As far as recommendations for the A's, I still like Soderstrom. And then Kurtz, if he leads off again, he's fine. Casey Mize is a decent pitcher. I don't know much about Luis Morales. I'm assuming he doesn't have very many starts this year. Yeah, he's only got 4. So I think he's still a good target. And like I said, the Tigers should win this game. They should avoid the sweep. So, but once again, I mean, home runs are getting hit. It's just kind of hard to predict in this game who's going to hit them. But stick with Green since he hit yesterday. I'm okay with Jacob Wilson since he hit yesterday, but I wouldn't like prioritize him. I would go with like Soderstrom, Kurtz, and then Shea and Rooker. And then Colt Keith also hit yesterday. So, but once again, leadoff hitter. There's always a leadoff hitter that hits like every game. It's crazy. Nito hit. Who else hit? I don't think there were a ton yesterday. Randy hit. Springer hit. Grisham hit the other day, but yeah. So I think we're good on that. The only other thing I want to point out for soccer is Harry Kane plays today. He had a hat trick the other day. So if you want to, the funny thing is they're such huge favorites that his odds for 2 goals were like plus 135 or something like that. That's pretty crazy. So you got to see if he even starts first before my cat wants to say hi. But oh, here it is, real quick. Oh, that's Saturday. All right, we'll just skip that. Let's just make a parlay real quick and then let you guys move on with your day. To hit the home run. Who was starting there? I think we go Grisham. I might just bear with me here. This is all raw. We gotta go Junior. And then since Varsho got the day off, I think we're gonna have to, and he was supposed to get us. I think we can go here, these three, Junior, Varsho, and Vinny. Either do Vinny or do Montgomery, whichever one you like more. But I think it's a coin flip. But they both, honestly, I think Vinny has the better matchup because he's facing Savelli. And I don't know much about this Burger guy. And the Royals should win this game. But yeah, we'll stick with Vinny. Anyone else? Seager would be okay. Any Astro you like, you can plug into a parlay as well. And then, of course, this last game of the day, you can pick Green again. You could pick Carpenter. You could pick Kurtz. So any of those guys, I'll post something in the chat or the comments as well. And then if you guys have anyone you want to recommend, also don't forget I do have a Discord. So if you want, I need to figure out a way how to link it in the description. But if you guys want an invite, just let me know. Just post like your Discord name and we just talk about the games. But we'll make it better later. But yeah, let's stick with Junior, Varsho, and Vinny. And then if I come up with anything else, I'll let you guys know. All right, I probably made this longer than I should have, but y'all have a good day and let's make some more money.